Today I'd like to demonstrate how to sew a chevron patch pocket. You'll need two pieces of fabric, one for the background, you'll cut it from self, and one for the patch pocket. You can also cut from self. I've cut it from contrast so it shows up more cleanly. Take note on the background, there are two punch holes. These punch holes will indicate where the pocket is going to be placed later on. They need to occur inside the finished edges of the upper corners. And in this case, they're 1/4 inch in and 1/4 inch down from each of the corners. Sometimes they'll be placed in 1/8 of an inch. First thing to do is mark the punch holes. In the commercial world, they'll be drilled and they're a permanent fixture of the fabric, so they don't heal. There's no way to recover from that. In this case also, when we poke a hole through, sometimes that doesn't recover as well, so you have to be very careful about that. My preference is to thread mark it versus using a punch hole like this, but commercially this is what is done. The first step is to set the hem along the upper edge. There are two sets of notches, one set at 1 inch, one set at 2 inches. This is our finished set. We always want to set the finish line first. It's always more successful and you'll get a cleaner finish if you do that first. Once set, open back up, bring the cut edge to the fold, and fold again. From the face side, you're going to edge stitch close to this edge, back stitching at both ends. So that you can successfully sew this from the face side, since there is a 1 inch hem, place the edge here ever so slightly inside of 1 inch. That way you'll be certain to capture the edge when sewing. Back stitch at the top and the bottom. The next step, turn in the raw edges of the sides and the bottom of the pocket. Turn it in and give it a press. Along this side, there, and all the way around. Sometimes it can be challenging to be accurate about this. A little steam to the fabric and the hard edge of a ruler, if you place it at the area that you want to crease, raise it up a little bit and then put some pressure. That'll give you a little score mark, and then it will give you a more successful turn. One more step that will make this edge even more sharp is to use a clapper. It's a wooden device, usually made out of oak or maple. And what you do is place some pressure. What it does is it removes the moisture at the same time that it really helps to set a crisp edge. The upper edges of the pocket on the inside, we don't want this raw edge to show once it's been sewn. This can be clipped away. I prefer to fold it under. So kind of add a little bit of a miter there and then give it a hard press. The next step is to place the pocket on the background. The punch holes indicate the placement. Once again, they are 1/4 inch in and 1/4 inch down on both sides. Make certain that you are equal on both. If it happens that the punch holes aren't exactly 1/4 inch in and 1/4 inch down, make certain that they're equal and even on both ends. Bring it up and place and pin. Edge stitch very close to the edge, pivoting at the intersections and coming back up. It's not enough to backstitch right here at the upper edge and just have one stitch here. It weakens this corner, and if this were a pocket that were in a lot of use, it likely would tear away from the background fabric. A better choice is to start at the sew line here where we've turned the hem and to come in from the edge a 1/4 of an inch, pivot, come up, pivot and come across. That will secure this edge and then come back down like this in this fashion. We'll pivot and come across the same number of distance that we did on the other side. We'll come down and then backstitch at this end here. What I normally do is I come in, I count the number of stitches in, and then I come up and then I count that same number of stitches out, and then I come down. Then when I come up here, whatever I came in on this side, I count the number of stitches in, pivot, count the number of stitches back down, and backstitch. Once the work is complete, Finish the perimeter edges and give a final press. Then check your work. Are your stitches 1/16 of an inch away from the edges? Are the boxes that you formed with the stitching symmetrical to one another on both sides? Is your hem parallel to the fold at the top? Is the chevron, the point at the bottom, is it centered?